Let's roll along with our position previews. We're going to talk about the secondary of the Colorado Buffaloes today. And starting off at cornerback, it is going to be led by Travis Hunter, who will play some receiver as well, obviously. But in 2022 was the number one player, number one corner coming out of high school. And if he's healthy and locked in, he should be a shutdown type of corner for the Colorado Buffaloes. And then Kormani McLean was the number one cornerback recruit in the country in 2023. And he's a five-star guy that Charles Kelly said has some work to do, but clearly has the ability to go in there and be a potential starter. So we'll see if those two guys are actually leading the way and live up to that hype. Now, behind them, if Kormani needs some more seasoning, if Travis needs a breather after playing some receiver, they've got some good experience and Power 5 experience. Two guys from Florida State, Omarion Cooper and Travis Jay, both come over from the Seminoles, where they played quite a few games and contributed on the Florida State defense over the last couple of years. Travis can also play some safety, and I expect that he'll kind of bounce around to both those spots at times this season. And then Kindred Breedlove is a guy that played at Ole Miss the last couple of years. Didn't play a ton, but did get some game experience, and he's a guy that's going to help out quite a bit for depth as well. And then Carter Stoutmeyer is a true freshman coming in. A lot of talent there as well. With the experience and talent that they have ahead of him, I expect that Carter might be a guy for the future, but clearly the talent is there, and the Buffs like what he can do in the future. Now at safety, that's going to be a very interesting spot because the Buffs have several starter caliber safeties, and it'll be interesting to see who actually lands in those starting roles and who gets the most playing time. For my money, though, I'm going to go with Trevor Woods, a guy that is the only returning Buff in the secondary. He was arguably CU's best player a year ago, and this staff likes him as well. He got a number in the spring. Deion Sanders has mentioned several positive things about Trevor Woods. I think he actually leads that safety group. And then next to him, you have a couple of Jackson State guys that were teammates last year, Cameron Silman Craig and Shiloh Sanders. They were both starters, and Shiloh was injured a little bit last year and didn't play as much, but both those guys are big-time talents that did some good things at Jackson State. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where they land, but I expect both of them to compete for starting roles. Then Miles Slusher was a part-time starter at Arkansas, and he's healthy and back and ready to go, and he's going to compete for a job as well. And then you have Roderick Ward that came from Southern Utah, who was a big-time player at Southern Utah, and he's going to look to make the jump from the FCS level and prove that he can do that as well. And then Vito Tisdale from Kentucky is a guy that played a little bit for the Wildcats, and was, from what we hear, was going to be competing for a starting role with the Wildcats this year, and he'll do that as well with the Buffaloes. But we'll see where he fits in that pecking order. And then Jaquez Robinson is a guy that actually I think is one of their top 5 or 6 defensive backs overall, and he's listed at safety. He can also play corner. He'll play nickel. He'll be all over the place. And he came from Alabama, where he played the last couple of years for Coach Charles Kelly. Coach Kelly would not have brought him here if he didn't like him as a player. I think he's going to be one of those really kind of hybrid type of defensive backs, guys that can move around. There's a few of those guys there. Jaquez, Travis Jay, guys like that are going to be guys that move around. But I look for big things out of Jaquez actually this year. And then you have a true freshman, Jaden Milliner-Jones, who kind of like Carter Stoutmeyer, I think is going to maybe wait his turn and may not play a ton this year, but more of an impact in the future. So to recap, I think the Buffs are very talented at corner. There's not a ton of guys there as far as scholarship, but with Travis and Kormani leading the way and some experience with the Florida State guys, I think that they're in good shape at corner. And then at safety, you have all these guys with starting experience. Trevor Woods, I think, leads the way, but you have a ton of guys that can come in and start and have started at the college level. I think the secondary overall could be Colorado's deepest and most talented position group.